Hi everyone, welcome back to Meadowcroft Farm. My name is Angela, and in this video I'll be talking about our main crop here on the farm, the amazing jackfruit. What is it? Why is it becoming so popular? Its versatility and its nutritional benefits. So let's dive in. Jackfruit is the largest tree-borne fruit in the world and can weigh up to 40 kilos. The current Guinness World Record for the heaviest jackfruit is from a farmer in India, and that jackfruit weighed in at 42.72 kilos. The jackfruit belongs in the Moraceae family, so it's a close relative of the breadfruit, the fig, and the mulberry. It's a tropical tree fruit grown in places like India, Asia, South America, and right here in the tropical regions of Australia. Jackfruit's popularity is expanding globally, with its forecast growth in the market predicted to continue rising. One of the reasons for this is its versatility. So jackfruit can be eaten in its ripe form as a fruit, in which case you would allow the fruit to fully mature, and then when it feels soft and it's giving off a strong fruity fragrance, then you know it's ready to eat. It's a tropical taste sensation. Think mango blended with pineapple. Sweet, juicy, and delicious. It can be eaten just as it is, as a fruit, or it can be used in many dessert dishes, such as jackfruit ice cream or Filipino Turon rolls, which we made recently, and the link for that recipe is in the description below. Jackfruit can also be eaten in its unripe or green form. In this case, it will be picked at around the 2 to 3 kilo mark, before the seeds and the fruit have actually started to develop. It's used in a wide variety of dishes, such as curries, tacos, and pulled jackfruit. And in fact, its ability to imitate pulled pork is one of the reasons for its popularity, with many people unable to tell the difference between pulled pork and pulled jackfruit. Jackfruit makes a great meat substitute in terms of its texture, and is popular among vegans and vegetarians, and even meat eaters like us, who are looking to include a couple of meat-free options into your weekly meal plan. When you're cooking with green jackfruit, it really does take on the flavour of what you're cooking with. So I will say that if you are using it in a dish such as a curry that has a lot of spices, you might want to tone those spices down, because it really does take on those flavours. Jackfruit are used in so many other ways, aside from what we just mentioned. Even the seeds are edible when they're cooked. So they can either be boiled or roasted, and in India they are even using the seeds to make jackfruit flour, which is a gluten-free alternative to wheat flour. There's many other products that are being made from jackfruit, such as dried jackfruit, jackfruit chips, jams, chutneys, hummus, yogurt, and the list goes on. It really is a versatile fruit. Even the trees are prized for their furniture making qualities. And the fruit, the leaves, and the bark are extensively used in traditional medicine. So let's talk now about the nutritional profile of jackfruit, and I want to start with protein, because jackfruit is often spoken about as a meat substitute, but this has more to do with its texture and its ability to take on the flavour of the dish rather than its actual protein content. And as you can see there, the unripe green jackfruit has approximately 2 grams of protein per 100 grams. This decreases as the jackfruit ripens. Now, if you were vegan or vegetarian, for example, and you're trying to find protein sources that you wouldn't otherwise be getting from meat, you might look at things like eggs, lentils, and tofu, which I've included in the slide there just as a comparison. And they obviously have a much higher protein content than jackfruit, even in its unripe or green state. So you wouldn't be looking at jackfruit necessarily as a protein source if you were vegan or vegetarian. You'd need to look at some of those other sources. But if we were to compare jackfruit to other fruit, so same category, we can see that it's comparable to avocados, which also have about 2 grams of protein per 100 grams. And you can see there I've put comparisons for bananas, apples, and oranges. So The protein content of jackfruit is pretty good when you compare it to other fruits, but if you were looking at it as a source of protein as opposed to meat, then you probably would need to look at some of the other protein sources to include in your diet. But that's not to say that jackfruit shouldn't be a good addition to your diet. It has many other benefits, especially in its minerals and vitamins, which we'll talk about soon. But I think it's important to clear that up, that it really cannot be a protein source if you are following a vegan vegetarian diet. In terms of texture though, jackfruit makes a great meat substitute. So let's now take a quick look at fibre, which is important for lowering cholesterol, stabilising blood sugar levels, and helps to slow digestion down, which makes you feel fuller for longer. It also is important for keeping the bowel healthy and regular. And we can see there that the fibre content of jackfruit decreases as the fruit ripens. And so ripe jackfruit is not particularly high in fibre when compared to other fruits, but there is a good amount of fibre when it's used in its green form for cooking. So now let's talk about the minerals. We've got calcium, potassium, phosphorus and magnesium. We're going to start off with calcium. And the minerals is one area where jackfruit really excels. So starting off with calcium, which is important for nerve function as well as for healthy muscle tissue, teeth and bones. I've just put for reference there, the recommended daily intake is 1 gram per day. And we can see that unripe jackfruit has about 51 milligrams per 100 grams, and this decreases as the jackfruit ripens, with ripe jackfruit coming in at 28 milligrams per 100 grams. I'm also including the seeds in these slides for anybody that's interested in their nutritional benefits as well. And so we can see that the calcium content of jackfruit is quite high in comparison to some of those products that I've put there. We can see definitely in terms of bananas and avocados. Oranges are a touch higher if we were comparing ripe fruit. And just for interest, I've also included milk because, as we all know, milk is often spoken about as being a good source of calcium, and it is. This is whole milk, coming in at 113 milligrams per 100 grams. But we can see definitely that jackfruit provides a good amount of calcium to your diet. So moving on to potassium, which is a key mineral required for cell function and nerve transmission. We can see that jackfruit has relatively good amounts of potassium compared to other categories of fruit. And it's worth noting there that jackfruit trails banana by only about 17% in potassium content. Even though banana is frequently touted as being high in potassium, which it is, jackfruit isn't that far behind. Another mineral which jackfruit has in average to high amounts is phosphorus. This is essential for cell membrane structure, energy pathways, gene transcription, and healthy bones and teeth. And finally, in the minerals category, we have magnesium, which is essential for healthy nerves, muscles, bones, and blood sugar levels. And we can see that jackfruit has middle to high levels of magnesium when compared to other fruits, and is comparable to bananas, having 27 milligrams per 100 grams. Now let's move on to the vitamins, specifically vitamin A, beta-carotene, vitamin B1 and 2, and vitamin C. Starting with vitamin A, which is important for development and growth, immune system maintenance, and good vision. We can see there that there's quite a significant difference between the content of vitamin A in unripe jackfruit compared to ripe, with ripe jackfruit having 312 international units per 100 grams. And you can also see there for the recommended daily intake that ripe jackfruit would definitely provide your recommended daily intake for vitamin A. Moving on to beta-carotene. This is a carotenoid and antioxidant, which is good for eye health, skin health, and a strong immune system. And it's important to note there that carotene is a strongly coloured red-orange pigment, with increasing levels producing darker orange colours in fruits.
So the ripening process increases the carotenoid content as observed by the darkening of jackfruit bulbs as the fruit ripens. And we can see that ripe jackfruit has about 193 micrograms per 100 grams of beta carotene, which is higher than bananas, but not as high as mangoes and oranges. And carrots definitely take out the prize when it comes to beta carotene. In terms of vitamins B1 and B2, these are important molecules for the body as they influence cell metabolism and red blood cell synthesis. And I'll let you look at the figures there in your own time if you'd like to pause or go back at all. I won't go through them all. But just to summarize, jackfruit has pretty good levels compared to other fruits for vitamin B1 and B2. And it's also worth noting that jackfruit is one of the rare fruits that is rich in B complex group of vitamins and contains very good amounts of vitamin B6, niacin, riboflavin, and folic acid. Finally, in the vitamin category, we have vitamin C, which is an antioxidant important for immune system function and required for the function of several enzymes in the body as well as tissue repair. The recommended daily intake is 45 milligrams a day, and the different levels for jackfruit are on your screen there. We can see that ripe jackfruit is pretty comparable to bananas, but definitely not as high as oranges, which of course we all know are renowned for high levels of vitamin C. This slide just goes over some other nutritional information that we haven't spoken about in the main categories of macronutrients, vitamins, or minerals. So jackfruit has a high lysine content, 69 milligrams per 100 grams, and lysine is an amino acid that vegetarians and vegans can struggle to obtain in their diet. Jackfruit also has a low caloric content at around 94 calories per 100 grams. Research also suggests that jackfruit has many classes of phytonutrients, such as lignans, isoflavones, and saponins. These phytonutrients have anti-cancer, anti-hypertensive, anti-ulcer, and anti-aging properties. And niacin, also known as vitamin B, is present in relatively high levels for a fruit, at approximately 4 milligrams per 100 grams of jackfruit pulp. Niacin is essential for energy metabolism, nerve function, and hormone synthesis, with the recommended daily intake at 16 milligrams for males and 14 milligrams for females. So to summarize, jackfruit is rich in a range of nutrients essential for good health. Many studies have revealed numerous health benefits of jackfruit, including anti-carcinogenic, antimicrobial, antifungal, anti-inflammatory, wound healing, and hypoglycemic properties. Jackfruit is extremely versatile and can be enjoyed fresh when it's bursting with sweet, juicy tropical flavor, or when it's young and unripe, cooked in a variety of dishes. Its use as a meat substitute is primarily due to its texture, especially when shredded, and its ability to take on the flavor of the dish. So if you haven't already, try it, you'll love it. Well, that brings us to the end of the presentation, and I really hope that you've all enjoyed watching this video on jackfruit, its versatility and amazing health benefits. I did obtain the nutritional information from recently published credible sources, which I have referenced here for your information. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.